Welcome, everyone, to our 100 subscriber special. Now, I just want to come out first and just say I would like to thank all of you for the support and for the publicity. And it has really been extremely amazing. And I am,
Yeah, I didn't think this was going to happen. I'm glad it did.
Far more than I expect.
Oh, yeah. We both thought it was going to get 500 views, 7. Cap out? 7? Okay. Yeah, we both thought it was going to get about 500 views and it was going to cap out.
Because this is what we want to do, you know?
Yeah.
This is our plan A, as I'd like to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I would just like to thank all of you for that. And here's my flashlight.
That is a flashlight.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't shine it at the camera.
Who cares?
They do. Everyone who's watching this now is blind. How do you feel? You're going to pay all their medical bills.
Look at that. It fits. Can you say the same?
I don't fit. Too big.
Nickname in high school. Gregory. L. Plus ratio.
Okay. Hey, I'm coming to you from the future. We are stupid and forgot to say that this is a part 2 to our previous investigation where we go over the evidence. So if you haven't watched that, go watch it now. I'll put a little thing on the screen here so you can go and check it out. And then once you're done with that, come back and watch this and it'll make sense.
So, basically, in other words, think about this. Our next thing, this is our first season. That was our debut, our pilot, so to speak.
Yeah.
And basically, we're going to have a whole lot more investigations in this town. Our next one is going to be on a trail, an extremely old trail. I think it's one of the oldest trails in North America.
Yeah,
I believe it's a wilderness trail. So we're going to we're going to record there. Then there's also a cemetery filled with unmarked graves from Spanish settlers from the 16th and 17th century. There's also the theater that was used as a it's just a theater, but there's a ghost there by the name of Chester, and nobody knows where Chester came from. But supposedly, I remember hearing this story. I looked it up. So during a performance, there was supposed to be 8 floating heads, and a black light came on, and it showed that there were 9, but no one knows where the 9th head came from. And from then on, he was named Chester. There's also the basement at Maze Hall that was used as a mortuary.
Yeah, it was
in the 1940s.
Maze Hall used to be a hospital for the military.
Yep.
People.
And then lastly, there's Griffith Hall, which at some point, I don't know if this is fact or fiction. It's just story, as far as I know. But supposedly, a girl jumped from the 3rd-story window to her death, and the only thing they found in her room was a Ouija board.
No, she was holding the Ouija board when she jumped.
I thought that was the story of someone who saw her ghost holding a Ouija board.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the investigation we have planned, plus the season finale, which the viewers will get to vote on our social media. And it is, but right now, it's between 2 places. We're potentially adding more places to that, but it's between Yorktown Memorial Hospital and Goatman's Bridge. So, you talk now.
Well, if you do want to go vote for that, once we do it, it is going to be on our Twitter account, which will be the link in the description. Yeah. So, go check that out. Give us a follow. So you can, once that poll goes live, y'all can vote on it.
Or we could put the account name here.
Boy, that is above the frame.
Or Or there. Or, in the description.
It would probably be in the description, more likely.
I think so.
It's just easier that way.
Yeah. So, we are going to go over, I believe the things that we were going to do for this video were go over the things that we cut out.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of talk about how we felt during the entirety of the investigation, kind of like a playover. Talk about our thoughts of it now and past tense, and then talk about the bloopers. I think would be a good idea.
Bloopers would be funny.
Yeah.
There's some funny ones in there.
Yeah, we should make a blooper reel for
do it at the end of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first thing to talk about, things we cut out. Now, here's the book of evidence that I kept when we were going through all the footage and all the audio.
Yeah.
And I wrote down timestamps and the videos that we caught them in, so that if we go in and we add them back, but there's a lot of stuff we didn't include. I'll just kind of scan through this book. In the first, between 6 and 9 p.m.,
Yeah.
this is what we caught. We only included about 3 or 4 of these.
Because there's so much we couldn't add it in.
Yep. The biggest thing I would like to mention, because I caught it, it was right after the first shadow person going over the windows.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that I caught an orb, a bright bright blue orb.
Yeah.
That dipped down in shot and then dipped away. Just like zipped off.
Yeah. And there was with the way it moved and where it was, there was no windows in that area or reflective surfaces. So.
And no, I think this was the only flashlight I had, and it was currently off at the time. And I was even using it, but if I had to demonstrate, it kind of went like, you.
Yeah.
Like that.
It was weird when we watched it back.
Yeah.
I thought we added it in, did we not?
We were going to. For some reason, we didn't.
I probably just...
Yeah.
Not depression. What's the word? Sleep deprivation.
Sleep deprivation.
That's the word. We stayed up what? 3 days basically.
Yeah, we stayed up 3 days straight, practically.
Yeah.
And then what else did we catch? We cut out. We cut out
the part where we went frame by frame and saw the thing walking up the stairs.
Oh, yes, we did. We did.
Yes. And we will put up the photos for y'all to see on screen.
Reference as to what we're talking about will be put on screen. Honestly, at this point, they already know that. They've already seen it. It's mainly just a note for us.
It's a note for us to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw after the fact when we went through and we were editing everything. I paused it, and he was standing on the other side of the room, and he goes, "What is that?"
Yep.
And we take a screenshot of it, and he traces out perfectly what Ari described it looked like.
Yep.
And this was, 10 minutes before JD left?
Yeah, this was the moment when JD left. This was at the same table.
Yeah.
It was right past JR.
Yeah. And it's perfectly what she described.
Yep.
And it's crawling on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is weird. And we also... No. And whenever we were going back and looking at the end of the footage of the whole movie, and we saw JR's photo of the staircase, and it matches the one that we took earlier of the screenshot.
Yeah.
It's just...
The biggest thing with me about that photo that he took of the staircase is that I didn't really get scared that whole time. I never was scared. I never thought that I was in danger. I always felt excitement, mostly.
We both felt excitement. The only time where I felt kind of fearful, not fearful, more anxious than anything, was in that editing room.
Yeah. And speaking of that editing room, one thing I noticed is that I guess when it comes to connection to the spiritual realm, I'm not really a part of that. I don't really have that. I don't sense energies. I don't sense anything. But when it comes to my actual senses themselves, my sense of smell, hearing, eyesight, it's very good. I was able to notice things other people were not able to notice to begin with. And I would note them in my head, and I'd go through, and I'd notice that, yeah, we actually caught them. Like, for instance, the Class A EVP we caught.
Yeah.
I think I was the only person who heard it with my own ears. I didn't note it. To me, it just sounded like an actual person, which confused me all hell. I was just so convinced that it was an actual person. But I was the only person who actually heard that with my own ears. But as soon as Ari said, and it's in the documentary, her saying this, I just saw a black shadow. That was the one room I was extremely hesitant to go in. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was. When I'd look in that room from across the hallway, I just felt loathing. Yeah. I just couldn't bring myself to enter that room.
And then right after the first encounter, right?
That was after the scream.
After
and then
the
your
scream,
camera dies.
when my camera died. We don't have footage of this because my camera was the only one recording at the time because we didn't start the investigation. This was still pre-investigation.
Yep.
And so right after that, she looks over and she says that she saw a black figure go across that editing room.
Yep.
And then, as in the documentary, a few hours after that, I see a white shadow.
Yep.
In the corner in that same room, but I didn't capture it on camera because my camera wasn't in the spot that I saw it at.
And
once I said that, he was done with that room pretty much.
Yeah. I did end up going in it, and once the lights were on, nothing really happened, at least. I don't know.
Nothing, it didn't, it felt weird, but that was it. There wasn't really, whenever I was in that room by myself, I got touched, but that was it. It didn't even feel like if it was like that.
Oh, yeah. I don't like that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that was, it was weird.
But yeah, basically. Okay, so the next thing I want to note about is I was gonna go somewhere about it. Oh yeah, I was talking about the picture. Okay, so I didn't feel like I was in danger until that about 3 a.m. whenever we were all sitting around the staircase, and I just remember I kept saying it out loud. Mm-hmm. I remember standing there at the bottom of the stairs, looking up, and it just felt like I could see someone, just this dark figure, staring at me.
We both felt it.
And then that JR took that picture, and you can see this sort of dark shadow-looking thing in the spot where I said I had seen it.
Yeah.
And that blew me away.
And you're the one who noticed the outline of it. Yeah. Too. I just saw the black figure. I didn't see the outline, and so he puts it into paint, and he outlines what he sees, and it matches perfectly with Ari's description in the previous photo that we've captured. She said after her event, she said that she was being held down, like it's something was trying to keep her there.
As soon as that happened, I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah. But then we did the interview with JD, and he said he had no previous contact with her at all. This was the next day.
I don't even think he liked her.
That. And I don't think he liked her at all either.
No.
But what signifies everything is that he describes the exact same thing that she did, word for word.
The way I remember he describing it before the whole friend in the pool thing, is that it was as if you take hands and you put it on someone's shoulders, and then you push them down as hard as you can.
So, right before he left, you could see him doing, like, this motion. Like, he was trying to describe something he couldn't describe at the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that backs up everything that she said about that event.
We never talked about what happened before the investigation, before we started filming that very first introductory thing, and we caught the flute. I was the first one who got to the house. I got there about 5:30, I think. Mm-hmm. And I was putting my drinks into the fridge upstairs, and I sounded like someone was dragging something extremely heavy on the ground downstairs. I was the only one in the house at this point. Then he gets there, he goes up and tell him what you heard.
So I get there, about 10 minutes later, he leaves to go over to his dorm to get his ring, right? Mm-hmm. And so I go upstairs to put my drinks in the fridge, my Monsters. And it sounds like, as I'm putting them into the fridge, in the hallway next to me, it sounds like someone's dragging their foot. Like someone's dragging like a body or something. Mm-hmm. That's what it sounded like to me. Yeah. And I told him that when he got back there, and then he told me his story.
Yeah. But I also wanted to note that right after we got done, I don't know if it was before any of us even started filming. It was right after JD got there. I was standing on the staircase, and I heard what sounded like a clicking noise, like a doorknob or some sort of doorknob or door noise. And we go back there, and the same door that he was filming whenever we got the big scratch had been opened. Mm-hmm. It was open. It was about this far open. And we tested it out. You have to push it in order to get it to open. It doesn't just open by itself.
We walked around that entire downstairs area, stomping and jumping, trying to get it to replicate itself, but it never. Nope. Nothing happened. And then we also heard. We were on the stairs again, and we kept hearing more noises after that. Remember, because we were trying to do other stuff.
That I don't remember, but I do remember we didn't get the thumping. Whenever we were doing the beginning prayer, there was one.
We cut that out, didn't we?
Yeah, we did cut that out. But there was this one distinct moment where I was looking at JD, and JD looked at me, and as soon as we made eye contact, we heard what sounded as if like someone dropped a bowling ball on the floor above us.
Let's describe what actually happened. Yeah. So Ari gets there, everything happens, the scratch and all that. Once Andrew and JD get back from Walgreens or CVS, Ari wants to do a prayer, a blessing pretty much, to try and keep everyone safe for the night. Me and Andrew were kind of hesitant on it, but we did it anyways. JD thought it was going to be a Christian prayer. But it was actually a pagan prayer, which is against his belief. But he didn't know that. So as she starts the prayer, she starts calling out to Hades for protection. And he doesn't believe in that, so he breaks the prayer and looks up. And as he does that, they look over, they make eye contact, and then the loud noise happens.
Protection of all of these fine gentlemen. Please protect them from...
So... And I remember that distinct. That's when I, at first, started thinking to myself, this is we may get more than I'm expecting. Yeah. Is after that had happened. And then of course there's the moment after we stopped filming, when we went back in the back room. Basically about 4 a.m. she tells us, go back in the back room. First she told us, turn on every light in the house, go back in the back room, shut the door, and do not come out until sunrise. And we did. And from that moment on, everything had stopped.
Yep.
Nothing
happened until I started looking back on footage on my night vision camera. Because we were bored. We had 2 hours to waste. So I was looking on footage on my night vision camera, and I was watching the footage back of her describing it. And as her voice starts describing it from my video camera, noises start happening right above us.
And I told him, I said, that might not be something you want to be doing right now while we're still in the house. Yeah. And as soon as that happened, we started hearing scampering upstairs.
And then I shut it off. We stopped, and noises stopped until we left at, I think, 7.
7, yep. And we went to eat at IHOP. Yep. So, yeah. And then let's also talk about the pictures. I will say this. Out of everything that happened, the pictures, that's what weirded me out the most.
Yeah. I hope by the time we upload this or start editing this, I can find my digital camera that I took with me, because I can't find it. I don't know what happened to it. And so I hope I can find that so I can show the pictures on the screen. But the one picture I remember the most is we were upstairs starting. I think this was before the first before the first EVP session in the table room. And I take 3 pictures back to back of Ari.
Oh, that was before the second one.
Before the second one?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was before the second EVP session.
It was about 2 a.m.
And this is the one I remember the most. And so we're all sitting around the table, and I decide that I want to take pictures of Ari because of what happened last time. So I take 3 pictures back to back. One of the pictures, there's nothing in it. There's nothing in it whatsoever besides Ari. And then the next picture, there's 2 orbs behind Ari. And then the picture after that, they both of those moved closer, and there was a third one. And this was right before her event.
Yeah. And it looked like balls of light.
Yeah. It didn't look like dust, because dust on that camera is very distinctive, and you know when it's dust. These were like flashlights being shown, like shined in the camera.
And then I also want to note that every single time you took a picture of the staircase, nothing was illuminated.
Yeah.
You'd take a picture, the entire room is flashed up, any picture. But as soon as he took a picture of the staircase, it would not light up.
The staircase and the threshold, like that area, I guess it just had too much energy for that camera to pick up for some reason. But everywhere else, it would catch perfectly fine except that area. And we also have pictures that half of the side is illuminated with the other part of the room, and then where the stairs is, it's just complete black.
Yep.
And it makes no sense to me. There's no logical explanation as to why that should happen.
Yeah.
And then he had my camera around 3 o'clock. He was using my camera, and tell them what you caught.
Yeah, I remember taking a picture. I was in the table room with a bunch of tables, and I took a picture, and it looked like there were 2 glowing eyes staring at me from about probably no farther than 2 feet away from me.
And he took another one after that, and there was nothing.
And there was nothing there. There was also the mists that moved onto the ceiling.
That was before everything. That was the first stuff I captured, right?
Yeah, that was after we discovered that Ari's car was on, and she went to go fix that. And at the time, it was just me.
It was just me and him, and I was taking pictures of. We were in the classroom, and it was that hallway that goes from the classroom to the back hallway. And I took 4 or 5 pictures in there, and you could easily see this mist that just travels into the room that we are and then up onto the ceiling. And it's unexplainable because there's more pictures of nothing being there, and then there's the pictures of that.
Yeah.
It's not something that was reflecting, that's for sure.
And then there's other evidence that we had caught. There was multiple, what sounds like a little girl, that we I don't know if we kept it out or we cut it out. I'm not sure what happened to that. There's a lot of growls, stair footsteps, orb and ass, of course.
The orb and the ass orb, yeah. Thank you for that comment, by the way, random person.
Yeah, thank you. There was we caught a lot of whispering that we either lost track of or we just couldn't hear it whenever we were labeling. But I know there is some whispering. Another one I wanted to note is that we actually that the camera we caught the Class A EVP on. Mm-hmm. We caught another Class A EVP of his voice whispering, "Come back." We didn't include that.
No, we didn't.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, there was it was my voice. And this was when we were upstairs, right?
No, we were in the living room.
In the main foyer?
Yeah, in the main foyer.
Yeah. And you could hear crystal clear my voice going, "Come back." Yeah. As soon as we leave. See, starting right here, it won't capture it.
And then as soon as, right after that happened, you could see several different orbs, mainly colored red. appear and disappear in that room.
Yeah.
That was wild as hell. Tapping.
There was so much tapping.
Oh, there was a lot of tapping.
There was tapping. There was footsteps. I think those were the ones that occurred the most before we went back and watched all the recordings. Yeah. What we noticed the most was tapping, footsteps, and then the door opening. Yeah, which we never caught again. Did we?
We heard voices as well. We heard voices. Yeah. We heard screams.
We heard whispers with our own ears.
Whistles.
The whistles.
The whistling was weird.
Oh my gosh. The first whistle that we caught was on my camera. It's like one of the very first things in the documentary. Yeah. And it sounds like an Indian flute. Yeah.
But I remember we had just gotten there. We had just done the whole door thing when the door opened. And me, you, and JD sat down at that desk about 6:30 before we even started the pre-setup. Yeah. And we just did a short little thing. And I kept saying, I'm pretty sure I'm hearing whistling. Yeah. And you did. Yeah, I did. And it was all over the house the entire night.
It was everywhere. Everywhere we were, the whistling was there. Yep. And it was in the weirdest spots. It couldn't have been... Every time we heard a whistle, we made sure JR wasn't the one whistling. Because he whistled a lot through the night. But most of the time when the whistles popped up, he wasn't there. Yeah.
I remember distinctly, he was across the table from me.
Yeah, and we heard it. You heard it from your...
Yeah, we were sitting about this far from each other, and we heard it directly in between us. Yep. And that was actually caught on camera. We included that. Yeah. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, as you can tell, me and him were the whole night, we were basically excited that everything was happening. Yeah. We weren't in fear of anything. But then once we saw the figure standing there, or what we thought was the figure standing there, that's when our entire demeanor changed. And you can tell by the documentary. Yeah. You can tell that you and me are both...
Uneased
and... what's the word? Panicked? Not panicked. We weren't as aggressive. We were more passive towards the end. Yeah. Yeah.
And that made... I remember distinctly someone going like this on my arm when I had my hand on the light switch. Yeah. I can swear on anything that happened. Yeah. And that was pretty much the only personal interaction I feel like I had with whatever was in the house. For the most part, it left me alone.
It left you and me alone pretty much for the whole night, besides the occasional knocks and whispers and everything that we hear. The main focus of the entire night was on JD and Ari.
Yeah, and honestly, to be completely, I'm not even sure what happened with JR.
He won't talk to us about
He won't talk about it.
Because there's multiple times that I have on my X camera, whenever we had it point at the stairs, he would go up the stairs and then just run down. Like very fast, just run down, like breathy and like panicked, and then he would just be perfectly calm the next second.
Yeah, and like as if he saw something, and then he just... Yeah. I mean, he won't talk about it.
He won't. We've tried to get him to talk to us about it, and he just won't.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Now, nothing may have happened, and we're just overly cautious about it, or maybe everything happened, but we need to know.
Yeah, which we're probably never going to.
So. Yeah, and that's completely fine.
Yeah. All right, what have we talked about?
Here are some bloopers.
Yeah, he's a blooper reel. Yeah. That was a stupid joke, anyways.
Yeah, bro, exactly. He just heard this door is open. We closed this door.
Tiny balls. That goes.
That was my stomach.
Oh my god. Okay, I see.
I don't wear underwear.
Well, it's a good thing then that I wear long shirts.
I don't wear underwear. So that's probably another reason.
What? Hold on.
I'm hearing like chimes upstairs. Or like chinking sounds.
You just said.
What?
What?
I think it is.
Hurts my stomach. I'm sorry, bro.
So hello, we are the Spectre Inspectors.
I thought we were doing the ghost pussy slayers.
I'm gonna scream, and not related to ghost pussy.
Now that you're where you want.
Okay, dead serious though. I would totally fuck a ghost. For content. For the evidence, you know?
Can we take a quick breather? Okay.
Any specific type of ghost?
Okay, that's willing.
So, what if you just felt like you were having a really, really bad colonoscopy all of a sudden? There's your evidence. What? Well, how'd you like the blooper reel? Comment down below. What's your grandmother's maiden name?
What's your social security number? Give us your location and your credit card and the 3 wacky numbers on the back.
God would be disappointed in us.
Anyways. So I guess this is the end of the video, huh?
Yeah, we didn't really think about what we were going to do for the outro, did we?
No, I mean, we were going to do the plug. So if you liked this type of video, just make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, turn the notification bell on, and go follow our Twitter.
Yeah.